G'day viewers, Retro Man here. Today I'll be continuing with my Kirstie Alley tribute with a bit of a retrospective on that classic 1986 TV movie Prince of Bel-Air, co-starring Mark Harmon. Stay tuned for more.
Coming to you from a basement studio somewhere down under, it's the 80s Show with Australia's Retro Man. On tonight's show, Retro Man pays tribute to Golden Globe and Emmy Award-winning actress Kirstie Alley with a retrospective on her 1986 TV movie Prince of Bel-Air. Well, what are we waiting for? Lights, camera, Retro Man!
G'day viewers, Retro Man here and welcome to the 80s Show. Now today I'll be doing a retrospective on the 1986 TV movie Prince of Bel-Air, starring Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley. Now, I was inspired to do this little retrospective after I heard about the sad passing of Kirstie Alley. Now, I've always enjoyed this film. I saw it for the first time back in '86 when it premiered on TV, and I've always just found it a breezy, fun little film. I mean, they class it as a romantic comedy, but as the movie moves along, it actually becomes a romantic drama. And Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley share a great chemistry in this one. And it's no surprise, shortly after this film, they went on to make Summer School in 1987, about a year later. So let's look at the premise of The Prince of Bel-Air. Mark Harmon is the titular character. He's Robin Prince, the guy who runs this pool cleaning service to all the wealthy people living in Bel-Air, and he kind of gets around and cleans everyone's pools, and he actually gets a little bit involved with some of the lonely housewives of Bel-Air as well. So you could refer to Mark Harmon's character Robin Prince as a little bit of a womanizer and a playboy, but it's done with such a charm, and it's an effortless charm that Mark Harmon has, so you kind of overlook his tomcat ways. But he's the titular character, he's the driving force behind this film, and one of his mentors in this film, if you will, kind of his advisory council, is Robert Vaughn. You know Robert Vaughn from the Man from U.N.C.L.E. TV series? He has a little role in this. And he's kind of the guy that's given Mark Harmon the money to sort of run his little pool cleaning business. And as a bit of a favour, Robert Vaughn says to Mark Harmon, look, I've got my son for the summer and he's going off to Yale, but he's kind of an awkward kind of guy. How about you take him out on your pool cleaning business and make a man of him over the summer? So the other little element to this film is a bit of a coming of age story. And Mark Harmon goes out with this young guy, and the funny thing is, this young guy, I think his name is Patrick Lebano, is the actor. He appeared in Summer School as well. So the Summer School filmmakers took a lot of actors from The Prince of Bel-Air. So anyway, Mark Harmon takes him out and about, and one day he's cleaning a pool somewhere, and then next minute Mark Harmon has an encounter with a very beautiful Kirstie Alley, who kind of has this really eye-catching scene. The first time we see her, she pops up out of the pool that Mark Harmon's about to clean, and I must say Kirstie is looking very good in this one. It's a fun scene. She's in a swimsuit and she's really full of life, and she has a little moment there, a little bit of chemistry with Mark Harmon. And then after that, I mean, Kirstie Alley's kind of aware that Mark Harmon's this tomcat playboy, but after a little while, you know, the two keep meeting and getting together, and they go out on a date. Kirstie plays an artist, and eventually the two fall in love. They have their ups and downs. So this film has a bit going on. I mean, like I said, there's this coming of age saga there with the young guy and Mark Harmon, and also there's this delightful little romance with Kirstie Alley and Mark Harmon, and there's also a lot of comedy throughout with Mark Harmon and the various women in his life. So Prince of Bel-Air, I've always enjoyed it. Of course, later on there was The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith, I mean, when you think of The Prince of Bel-Air, you kind of think of that one. I mean, that came much later, but that one's the more prominent one in people's minds. So it's not the Will Smith series. This is the Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley romantic dramedy, if you will, from 1986. And overall, it's a delightful little TV movie. I mean, viewers out there could see it today and think, what is this? You know, but if you're a Mark Harmon fan, if you're a Kirstie Alley fan, it really hit the sweet spot back in 86. I think the two have some great chemistry, as I said. And I think if for a bit of nostalgia, guys, and you'd like to see a bit more of Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley in their youth, this is a great go-to movie. It's a little warm-up to summer school. So Harmon and Alley and who I just said, the young guy, Patrick Lebanon, and of course, another guy, Dean Cameron, moved on to summer school as well. Dean Cameron has a quirky little role. He kind of hangs out in Mark Harmon's pool shop, and also hanging out with Dean Cameron is Don Swayze, Patrick's brother, and he's a bit of a sort of a dopey guy that kind of hangs out in the pool shop. So Dean Cameron and Don Swayze are sort of hanging out there for comedy relief. So there's a lot going on in Prince of Bel-Air, and it's a fun little nostalgia kick from 1986. So if you've never seen it, check it out. And really, now's the time. I mean, Kirstie Alley has sadly passed away, and that's how I've managed to sort of remember this film and reflect on it. Actually, I own Prince of Bel-Air. 2 DVD copies I have because I've always enjoyed it, and one of them is the uncut European print, and I think that one contains a little bit of nudity, something that you didn't see in a TV movie back in the 80s, but they obviously shot this alternate scene. So there's a bit of topless material in the other cut, but I have both cuts of the film. I think there's 3 or 4 minutes difference going by the running time off the cases here, but yeah, Prince of Bel-Air, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It might be out there on a streaming service. So yes, I think Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley are very good in this one. So if you've seen Prince of Bel-Air, please share your memories in the box below. I mean, maybe you saw this film back in 86, or maybe you've checked it out in recent years for nostalgic value. Regardless, guys, it's a great time now to reflect on Kirstie Alley's career, and I have a little video up on the channel that pays tribute to her and takes a look at 7 of her very entertaining films from the 80s. But wait, I've just thought of another thing. If you want more on Kirstie Alley, I've also got a Blu-ray spotlight on that other film she did with Mark Harmon called Summer School. So if you'd like to see a little bit more on Summer School, please check that out. So guys, that just about does it. Please keep watching The 80s Show because you will never know what is going to pop up next. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe, and it's been an absolute pleasure. This is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Please subscribe and good night, viewers.